So today is nothing but we're gonna discuss about something which I have planned for like a month or like 4 months. I have been thinking about this components of AI. So today we're gonna discuss about पहला होता है load balancer, दूसरा API gateway, तीसरा forward proxy, तीसरा reverse proxy. So these are some components of system design, and this is a very vital and a very basics and very stepping stone components of in every system. Every system which is being built around, and every system has been going to be built. These are the main components which is going to be required, and this is the main very basic and required in every basic minimal to minimal project and higher end to like big enterprises level project. So these are the components which is gonna be used in every dynamic of projects. So today we're gonna discuss about this components, like first of all load balancer and the difference between the load balancer and the API gateway in system architecture. And then afterwards we will gonna discuss about the forward proxy and the reverse proxy. What are the main use cases of these components in different aspects of requirements, and when we use actually this kind of components, and why this kind of components is being invented and being introduced to the system design, and what aspects of problem they are solving in system, so like the system work very efficiently without interruption and in very large scale. So now we're gonna discuss first of all load balancer and the API gateway in very broad analysis discussion, like what actually forced engineers to like introduce load balancer and the API gateway in the system design components, and why actually we used in every aspect of these components in system design. So this is very important. So now we're going to discuss about what is load balancer and the API gateway. Let me erase this. Let me just give me 2 seconds. The API gateway, what is the difference? Actually, the difference is that load balancer is being used to like route traffic in between the servers, and the API gateway is being used to like perform authentication, authorization, and uh, routing request response to like exact servers in microservices architecture, and in different kind of architecture to like direct their request to like specific services. Load balancer also can do, but the API gateway is especially designed to perform in large scale. And API gateway is also in very like rate limiting, logging, IP rate limiting, all of kind of things is being performed in API gateway, on security check, authentication, authorization, all of kind of things. So this is the difference actually. So I will draw a system design in which load balancer and API gateway is being, and then I will introduce and then I will differentiate the use cases of this components in system design. So like if let's suppose let's I am drawing a simple example system component system design, and then in between I will place the load balancer and the API gateway, and I will differentiate in between, and I will also tell you that why this in scenario based, like why API gateway can be used and why cannot load balancer can be used, and also I will tell you the why load balancer can be used and why API gateway cannot be used in different scenarios. So this first scenario is like this is the so let's suppose we are building microservices architecture, and there are different kind of services, and we have to route the service request response, and the load balancer also can be used in this component. So this is the body client. Okay, this is the load balancer, this is the API gateway, and these are the services. Okay, so let's suppose this. So let's suppose this is the product service. This is the payment service. This is the order service. This is the notification service. So, and this is the load balancer, and this is the API gateway. Okay. So, what is the difference? So what is the difference? So like whenever the high traffic is being introduced, so it will, the main component is to route traffic, and the main component is to perform authentication, authorization, rate limit, IP, rate limit, routing, request. So this is the actual use cases of API gateway and the load balancer. And again, we can use load balancer after the API gateway as well. For example, let's suppose we are getting requests about 50,000 K in second in, for example, services being introduced to like provide search request catalog, searching products and listing of products in the platform. So like we are getting requests of this kind of an 50K request in a second. So this is a very huge traffic for an services in a not a very huge traffic in a like to a specific service for a specific services. So like to now manage product services, we have distribute the service the traffic coming from API gateway as well in the product services. And also we have to distribute the traffic coming from API gateway in the product services before coming to the product services. Okay, so now we will place an in this scenario, we will place this load balancer, and this will be like product services. So load balancer can be used before the API gateway, and load balancer can be used after the API gateway to distribute the traffic. The main function is to a load balancer is to distribute traffic across the multiple servers to ensure scalable and reliable system. An API gateway is being used to perform two three like API gateway can also perform many large scale performance, but we mainly use API gateway to perform this kind of an operations. So like to offload the operation in the main server. For example, if we do not use API gateway and we directly route the traffic to the load from the load balancer to the exact services, the problem is being the first class. The load balancer cannot distinguish that request which type of request is being came from the client, and what type of request is to be, and what type of response to be served to the client. The main thing only load balancer know is that the load balancer only know the routing the traffic to the multiple servers and the multiple services. It does not know how to route where to go, where to perform, how to perform, what type of services is being placed to perform different kind of services. So this kind of drawbacks load balancer have, but the API gateway solves this, and that is the reason why API gateway is used to like route the service request services and offload each offload frequent operational operation. For example, authentication authorization is being frequent operation is being performed in servers, and rate limiting also, IP rate limiting also, route requesting also. These are the frequent operation is being performed. So and if we do not use the API gateway and directly perform this kind of operation directly into the main server, it will be a very huge uh, CPU uses and latency, and it will eventually slow down our servers and everything, and it will slow down our whole system around it. So this is the reason why we use these two components exactly like load balancer and the API gateway, and and it doesn't mean that the API gateway can be only used in this microservices architecture. It also can be used in monolithic as well. Like if you have like modular services, for example, like this. Let's suppose this is the client. Give me a second. Like now, what is actually why the actually we used why the actually a band के लंड चुप हो जा. Now, what is we actually use forward proxy and the reverse proxy in the between the servers and the systems is because it's like this. If we before use if we used like now I will just give you the glimpse of forward proxy and the reverse proxy component in the system design, and I will just let you glimpse, and after this video I will tell you the exact reason why forward proxy and reverse proxy is being used in system design. So like suppose this is not an client, this is an internet, for example this is like Google, okay, and now this is the forward proxy. Why proxy is being used? To recapture why same thing, rate limiting, authentication, authorization, protecting servers from DDoS and huge traffics, and SSL termination certificates means protecting servers and systems from large scale attacks. So this is the actual reason why we used. And let's suppose this is the internet and this is for proxy, and after this the request is being distributed across the systems, and before the load balancer, if the system is to distribute across the server, we will use forward proxy, and when we use to like protect our exact servers, not systems, exact servers, I'm telling you, exact servers, we use reverse proxy. For example, if I have to protect this all of systems, I will use reverse proxy in this region. So this will help to like protect the server from large scale DDoS attacks and termination. All